Welcome back to the channel. My name is Steven. I'm a pharmacist. I own 52 units of real estate and I help coach people to buy their first multifamily deal. So today I want to talk about the truth of owning 20-unit apartment complexes. So I own a 26-unit apartment complex in Oklahoma City and a 20-unit apartment complex in Enid, Oklahoma. So I own two apartment complexes that are roughly in the 20-unit range. So the truth about owning a 20-unit, and a lot of people don't share this, which is why I want to share this and feel obligated to share this, is especially C-class value add 20-unit apartment complex. So who are you buying this from? Typically, you're buying this from someone older in their upper 60s, low 70s, looking to retire, mom and pop owner. They bought it because their CPA told them that it'd be a great tax write-off as a real estate professional status. You can do bonus depreciation, accelerated depreciation, all these tax benefits of real estate to offset their business income. So both the apartments I bought, one guy was a lawyer who retired and another guy owned a business and he was trying to get out of the business or invest in another business. So both these people were probably told by their CPA to buy multifamily real estate as a tax write-off to offset their business income as a tax purpose. But what they aren't as strong at is operations. So with multifamily, it's treated like a business. You have to manage the net operating income. How are you increasing the rent and how are you decreasing expenses simultaneously? And when you do that, you can increase your NOI. And when you increase your NOI, assuming cap rates stay the same, your value goes up. So it is a business. And that's why when you buy multifamily real estate, the lenders want to know your experience, they want to know your track record, and they want to know what your plan is. So when you buy C-class value-add multifamily, the truth is you can underwrite the deal to cash flow day one. And you have to because the lender requires a minimum debt service coverage ratio of greater than 1.25, which means that the NOI must be 25% higher than a monthly debt payment. So if your debt payment is $10,000, for example, your NOI must be almost $13,000 in order to suffice that debt service coverage ratio. So by nature of it, it should cash flow. And that's why you buy real estate, because it's supposed to cash flow day one. So when I underwrite a deal, it cash flows day one. So my 26 unit, I had it cash flowing like $1,500 to $2,000 a month day one, based on my underwriting and based on my purchase price. And day one, it was like a 10% cash on cash return. But what people don't tell you is the moment you take over the apartment complex, there's a lot of turnover once you have a new owner. So when I took over my 26 unit apartment complex, 24 out of 26 units were occupied. Average rent was around $350 to $400. And all the tenants were month-to-month leases. When I bought the apartment complex, the tenants know, and the tenants will talk. So I underwrote the deal to cash flow, let's say $1,500, and let's just make the rent easy. It's $400. Well, the moment I took over, I had 7 tenants leave immediately, and I didn't do anything. Right? We just put notices on the door saying, "Hey, there's a new owner. This is a new property manager, and this is how you're gonna pay your rent to this company, and this is how you pay your rent." So it's just like an introduction letter. And during that time, I had 2 tenants just stop paying me, and we gave eviction notice and they left before we evict them. So they got a month of free rent. So I just lost 2 tenants right there. That's $800 gone. And I had, I think, 5 more tenants over the course of the month of the transition leave as well. And, if you take 7 times 400, let's just call it, that's 2,800. So now I underwrote cash flowing like $2,000 high end. Now I just lost, 7 tenants. And now I'm negative cash flow about $1,000. And I was okay with that because I was planning on renovating the units anyways. So, now I had 9 vacant units to start renovating. And so that's one thing people don't tell you is when you take over an apartment complex and they know there's a new owner, you're going to have people stop paying you and take advantage of that situation, and they're going to leave or you have to evict them. And that may wipe out your cash flow that you underwrote. On top of that, you're going to have tenants who just now take that opportunity to leave because they know that you're going to raise their rents. They know that they've been getting cheap rents. I mean, tenants know, they're not stupid. What if their rents are good or not. So they know of a new owner, they might raise rents and there might be renovation, and people don't want to deal with that. And for me, I was doing renovations, and that creates turnover because, you're banging, doing a lot of renovation. It's noisy. And if you are home during, business hours, then it's noisy. So that's what caused people to leave as well. So, as I renovate 5 units, like brand new units, what happened was that caused people to leave. But also caused people who wanted to stay, they want to upgrade to the nicer unit. So I had a tenant that was in an older, non-renovated unit paying $350, and he or she moved to my renovated unit for $750. So a $400 raise. But they were willing to pay because it was a much nicer unit. Everything was brand new. So that's one thing that they don't tell you is when you take over an apartment, people will stop paying and people will leave, and then whatever cash flow you underwrote will be gone and wiped out. So you have to have money in reserves when you buy an apartment. Another thing that people don't tell you about owning or renovating 20 units is when you start renovating, you have to renovate in batches of 5. Because that's how subcontractors and contractors prefer to do that. No one told me this. Because it's easy to be like, hey, we're going to do flooring for 5 units. I'm going to do plumbing for 5 units, kitchen for 5 units, bathroom for 5 units, drywall for 5 units, paint for 5 units. So every time I renovate, I just thought, oh, finish 1 unit, it's ready. So instead of taking, let's say if it takes 5 weeks to do 5 units, so 1 week per unit, in my mind, I just thought, oh, in 1 week, 1 unit will be done. And then that could be rented out. And then next week, another unit will be done, that could be rented out. But no, the reality is you have 5 units that are down. And then all of a sudden, 5 weeks later, 5 units are available for rent. And then you rent them out, and then you go on your next batch. So, I wish someone kind of taught me that. So you have to bake that in. So you have to bake that in of, units will be down for a while. And another thing I wish someone told me was just Capex. So, when you have Capex, you have an older apartment complex built in the 1960s, the 1970s, things will break. HVAC systems will break. I had these recalled electric panels I had to replace. I had, plumbing issues that I had to take care of. I had to replace the roof. So this comes with the cost of doing business. When I get insurance, they do annual inspections and they make me give me a list of items that I must repair, or else they won't renew. So when you have an older building, there's more repairs. But hopefully your cash flow, the income you're making, can help manage those repairs so that, once you make the repair once, you don't have to do it for hopefully another 10 to 15 years. Unless something bad happens. So that's another thing that I wish I was told. And, for me, doing a full stabilization of 20 unit apartment complex took me about 1.5 to 2.5 years. With my 20 unit, I went a little bit faster because I had to pay the contractor more money. I paid a premium because he was high quality and high speed. So I paid a premium for that because I was on a hard money loan, and I had to finish this within a year and renovate all 20 units. And 1 unit was completely burned down. So it was a bigger project. Versus my 26 unit, I had a guy who was high quality, but he was very cheap. But because of that, he was very slow. So that one took me 2.5 years to renovate everything and then finally rent it out and stabilize it. But I didn't mind taking my time because I locked in 4% interest rate, 10 years fixed, and it wasn't a hard money loan. So you have to know what type of contract you need for your situation. If you have a hard money loan and it's called due in 12 months and you had a lot of renovations, you got to pay for speed and pay for high quality. It's going to be more expensive. If you have 10 years to do your plan, then you could afford to pay someone cheaper that's slower, but still high quality. So I never compromise on quality. Another thing someone told me that I would own is, it takes once again, with apartments, even though you buy it cash flow day one, it takes 3 to 5 years to stabilize. Like my 26 unit, I bought this in August of 2021, almost owned it for 4 years now. And, now it's starting to cash flow very well where, I'm grossing $16K. Maybe my expense is $8,000 and then my loan is $2,000. So, it's $10,000 in expense, so $6,000 a month in positive cash flow. And that's the one deal that's carrying my team. Versus my 20 unit, it varies, but it cash flows. I think I call it break even, maybe slightly negative. So my 20 unit is the one that's on the chopping block, but I want to give it more time of owning it to see what it's really like owning it. Because like I said, once again, I've been hit with plumbing issues, with bed bug issues, with Capex issues. So, I'm having more Capex issues, but I'm hoping the longer I own it, I fix all these Capex issues so that now it's stabilized and I'm reaping the benefits of owning this asset long term. Remember, real estate is a long term game. and you have to fix it. But, just know in your real estate portfolio, 20% of your units generate 80% of your cash flow. So right now, what generates literally 60% of my cash flow from real estate is my 26 unit apartment complex. The other ones are not as good as that one. So, it's another thing that I wish I knew about owning a 20 unit apartment complex. So anyways, just kind of want to share my thoughts about what it's like to own 20 unit apartment complexes. Hopefully you found some nuggets from that. If you want to buy a 20 unit apartment complex and you want guidance, you want mentorship, you want someone who has experience, check out my link tree down below. Click on the link tree. You can see the course, the mentorship, the coaching. And from there, you can see my email if you want to send me an email for any questions. So, once again, the mentorship program, I just helped a student close on a 7-unit apartment complex in Texas, and maybe I can help you do the same. Anyways, let me know what questions you have. Please like, comment, subscribe. Hope to see you in the next one. Thank you so much.